Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our Wednesday morning assembly. This week, we're thinking about people's feelings and how they can change with different circumstances. And we're also going to think about how to be sensitive to the feelings of other people. Now, today, I've got something to talk about. I've got a poem for you. I'm going to read the poem in verses throughout my assembly. So, the first thing I'm going to show you is one of these. I wonder if any of you have seen one of these around our school. Could you have a little think for a moment and put your hands up if you can tell your teacher where you have seen one of these? And secondly, I want you to have a little think about what you might find in one of these. It's got words on the front of it. I'm going to help our younger children out by saying it says first aid. It's a first aid kit. Where might you find one of these in school? And if you opened it, what do you think you would find inside? Got a little list. I wonder if anybody said plasters. I wonder if anybody thought of antiseptic wipes to wipe the dirt out of any cut or graze. I wonder if anybody said bandages or a pair of scissors or some tape, or even a sling in case anybody hurt their arm or their shoulder. When I was 10, I broke my first bone. I have broken many bones since I was 10 because I'm really accident prone. If there is something in school or something in our house to fall over or trip over, I will most certainly be the person to do that. If there's something to bump into or to trap my finger in, that will absolutely be me. So when I was 10, the night before we were going on holiday, on Good Friday, so at Easter time, we booked a holiday to go to Portugal to stay on the Algarve, and I went to bed early. I was asleep in my little bed, and next to my bed I had a little bedside cabinet, like many of you will do as well at home. And at about 10 o'clock at night, my mum and dad heard this huge bang and a thud. And they came rushing up the stairs to find me flat out, knocked out, in a crumpled heap next to my bed, having fallen out of bed and fallen into the bedside cabinet. Now, my mum is a nurse, or she was a nurse when she was at work, and she recognised quite quickly, because of the big lump in my shoulder, that I'd broken my collarbone and I needed to go to the hospital. So I went to the hospital. It was a Friday night in Wythenshawe Hospital. It was very, very busy, and eventually I got to see a doctor and I had some x-rays, and they could see that the bone in my collarbone was doing that instead of being nice and flat like that. So they sort of pushed it down and wrangled it round a bit to make it as flat as they could, and then I had to wear a sling for 6 weeks. So I had a thing that went round my neck, and then it came down and looped over my wrist to hold my arm still, to hold my shoulder still, to let my bone heal. Now, after 6 weeks, I could stop wearing my sling. And wearing my sling was useful because when I was out and about or when I was at school, it was a sign on the outside, a visual sign that I'd hurt myself and that people should be a bit careful around me. But when I took my sling off, even though my shoulder was still very, very sore and tender, you couldn't actually see anything on the outside of me to tell you that I was hurting on the inside. It wasn't like a graze or a cut where you can see something on the outside. It was inside and it was still sore. So I'm going to read you the first part of my poem now. The poem says, grazes heal, scars on the outside disappear, soreness and bruises fade away. In hours, in days or even in weeks, new skin grows so that nobody knows where the hurt has been. That's thinking about being hurt on the outside, physically hurt. Are there other ways that we could hurt? I want you to just stop the video and have a little chat about the number of ways that we can hurt each other's feelings to make ourselves hurt on the outside. Can we treat hurt feelings with a first aid box? Can we bandage them up? How long do they take to heal, and who can help us when we hurt inside? Just stop the video for a couple of minutes, have a think, and then your teacher will ask you to put your hands up and you can share some of your ideas. The second verse of my poem says, hurt feelings, scars inside, unseen. The hurt remains and even grows for hours, days, weeks, and maybe even years. It hides inside us sometimes in a locked and secret place to which only we have the key. Sometimes when somebody's hurt themselves on the inside, it's easier to see, it's easier to accept, and it's easier to watch it heal. But when we use unkind words and we say unpleasant things to each other, we can't see how hurt somebody is inside. We can't see if those feelings are mending, if they're getting better, or how long it takes for them to heal, if they ever really do. So here's my poem again. I want you to think about it and think about the way that we can stop hurting people on the inside as well as the outside. I want you to think about the way that we can consider the words that we use, the way we speak to people, the way we make them feel, so that we aren't hurting people on the inside. Grazes heal, scars outside disappear, soreness and bruises fade away. In hours, days, or even weeks, new skin grows so that no one knows where the hurt has been. Hurt feelings, scars inside, unseen. The hurt remains and even grows for hours, days, weeks, and maybe years. It hides inside us, locked in a secret place to which only we have the key. We're going to finish our assembly today with a prayer. And while we're saying our prayer, I want you to think of the words of the prayer, but I also want you to reflect, to think about the way that you treat other people and the way that you like to be treated. And check that the way that you treat other people is not causing them any hurt inside in the way that you act and the things that you say. Put our hands together, close our eyes, and get ready to say our prayer. Dear God, please help us to value the people around us, our family, our friends, and the people we meet every day of our lives. Help us to realise that we are all special and that we all have feelings and can feel hurt both on the outside and the inside. Amen. Well done for listening, children. Tomorrow I'll be back with another assembly about feelings. I look forward to seeing you all. Have a great day of learning. Bye everybody. See you tomorrow.